Very good evening to everyone. And today is our 7th Sunday TALKIES sessions organized by Aqua Solutions and Aqua One Center, Kolkata. And this is our 7th session of every Sunday program. And today we have a very renowned person with us in the field of aquaculture is Dr. Azad sir from Kuwait. And if I just talk about little bit a small introduction about the sir, Dr. Azad sir is now a research scientist in aquatic animal health, Kuwait Institute of Scientific Research based at Kuwait. And sir is basically from Bangalore, and sir did BFSC, MFSC, PhD on aquaculture, and have very strong of working experience starting from Northeast, ICR Center to SIVA, then SIVA to Kuwait. Sir got 2 patents in, one is on bioremediation and another on fish vaccine. And sir got lots of publications, more than 52 peer review journals, 32 popular articles. Moreover to that, sir also is awarded Best Overseas Indian Fisheries Scientist Award by PFGF in 2006, Best Overseas Indian Scientist Award by 2018. So you people can imagine we have a very global face among us, which is it's only possible by Indian aqua experts, because you see today many people sometimes ask me why you are into aquaculture, but for these 2 years of COVID, give me a very good lesson. Now people come to us and say that I want to be a fish farmer. So chance change, scenario change, global perspective of aquaculture also changed. So without much wasting my time, and from once again, I like to convey best regards from every participants and from Aqua Solutions and Aqua One Center, Kolkata, to Dr. Azad sir to join with us from very far. Sir is very busy. Today also sir got luckily some time from Eid holidays. So sir is spending with us. So sir, now the forum is for you. Sir, please go ahead, sir, then.
Thank you, Debjanu. Thank you, ADS, Aqua Solutions. I call it ADS. It's a pleasure talking to many people, and including Dr. Ashok Sahu, who is very senior, and he was my teacher's classmate, Dr. Shankar's classmate. Dr. Shankar was my PhD guru. So it's nice to talk to you all. Let us move to the presentation. It is present now, right, Debjanu?
Sir, okay. You can start screen sharing. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, present now. Yes.
Are you seeing that? My screen?
Sir, is not yet started.
Okay.
या पिक्चर्स आ गया.
Earlier, sir, it was started that time.
Now,
before.
Now,
sir, is not yet.
I said start now, right? Share, huh? Right?
Yeah, sir. Share.
Entire screen or a window?
Sir, you just open that PPT, sir, in your desktop. Then you can start with that a window. That option will come. Yeah, now it's coming.
Okay.
You can make it bit, sir, large. Yes.
Okay. Right?
Yeah, sir. Yes.
So, shall we go ahead?
Yes, sir. Please, sir, please.
Okay, friends. Good evening, and welcome to the discussion on the topic here with Aqua Solutions. I am Dr. Azad from Kisar Institute for Scientific Research. It's on tricks and tracks of health management in aquaculture. Now you may be just wondering what is this, why it is trick, and what is this track and all. So it's the tricks and tracks are the very handy layman's wordings. Like tricks are handy because knowing theories and practicing for applying it is not possible for everything and every time. And then partitioning time for an effective end result is important, because you cannot keep on learning everything and you keep on practicing everything. You should have some tricks so that you follow those tricks and get things from others who have already done that. They have practiced it, they have learned it. Then bending the finger to get better is the trick. There is a saying, अगर घी सीधी उंगली से नहीं निकल रहा है तो उंगली टेढ़ी कर दो. So that's a trick. And what are the tracks? Yes, they are the ones which are required to sustain and repeat success. And then they are required for keeping a record so that others can follow on that. And also you have the tracks for developing a systematic procedure, and these are the stepping stones for success. And if you fail while following a track, you can come back and correct your track, right? So that is how tricks and tracks are common man's terminologies. I don't want to just I use all those jargons and this one. So why health management in aquaculture? It's a question to be asked. There are two viewpoints. One is the viewpoint from the organism. The organism says it is not natural way how we grow, and it is not the ambience, it is not the environment we may like. And you may put us into mad crowd, the crowding, the stress. And the enemy has better chance because it is crowded, and the enemy has better chance. So the pathogens have a better chance to survive in such environments. From the aquaculturist point of view, it is obviously to produce protein-rich food, to get some earnings, and of course a bit faster if it is possible, to help others gain through what you call employment. That's what Devtanu is doing. He's developing Aqua solutions, and he's giving employment to so many people, and he's generating employment through training people in the field. Now, if we see this particular topic, we have several things to be addressing these. We have the diverse species diversity. We have varied habitats, likings of the host, fish and shellfishes. There could be several ways of producing the aquaculture product, like traditional, semi-intensive, intensive, super-intensive, multi-species. And there could be a factor which is governed by the prevailing market, like likings, demand, supply. And then there are policies and regulations by the government. All these factors govern how we manage aquaculture system and the health in the aquaculture system. Now the systems, what I was telling, in the traditional system, you can see the Pokali, Beharis and Khajan, the Karnataka or the Goan way. And then semi-intensive, generally it is single stocking, limited feeding, and single or multiple harvesting. In intensive, there are several ways, like selective and multiple stocking. Mono or polyculture, IMCs is the traditional polyculture example with us. Exotic crops, a high density and feed supplementation, aeration, medication, prophylactics. These are all the components of intensive aquaculture. Then multi-species across habitats, this is also possible. We have to, when you use across the habitats, when you use species, you have to go for acclimatization, domestication, broodstock management. You have to have broodstock from the wild, acclimatize it, and then use it, and then do induced spawning. Sometimes many of these species which you acclimatize and domesticate, they may not spawn spontaneously, so you'll have to adopt induced spawning. Then nursery rearing and pre-growing, like nowadays many of the aquaculturists, they follow the pre-growing, like grow it to certain size and then take it to the table size production into the larger farming area. Then you have species combinations, to synergize, like for example multi-species culture, that is IMTA. It is generally called integrated multi-species aquaculture. So there you have the synergistic effect being harvested, and it is taken benefit of. So these are all the ways how we have aquaculture nowadays going on. Of course, the traditional way is the one which is almost nearer to the natural system, and that's why we never used to hear about the diseases and all those things in the traditional aquaculture systems. But as we grew our field of aquaculture, as we were taken to kind of producing more and more from a limited area, we started into semi-intensive, intensive, multi-species, and all those things. So that's why the concept of nature-like, then there is modified nature or a completely modified environment when it comes to traditional semi-intensive, then intensive aquaculture in the present day. Now, when such type of things are there, the aquaculturist has three important components to be addressed: the host, the pathogen, and the environment. These are the three important components which are to be addressed for an effective health management in aquaculture systems. Now, the host point of view, when you talk about the host point of view, we have diverse species. Species diversity that poses us problems. How we deal with the diseases in such a diverse environment. We have the freshwater system where we have carbs, tilapia, herbivores, omnivores, catfish, koi, ornamental fish. Then in the freshwater again, the shellfishes like the prawns and mussels. In the marine system or the brackish water system, we have the sea bass, the mullets, chanos, the pompanos, grouper, eel, flatfish, and more species are coming into picture. And in fact, we have started a recent project on the Indian salmon, that is Elythronema tetradactylum. We have started procuring the broodstock from the wild, and we have right now about 50 fishes already collected this season. So we will be going ahead with the breeding and domestication aspects of that particular species. And then in the shellfishes, we have the shrimp, oysters, mussels, crab, and of course commercial production of pearl through oyster culture and seaweeds. These are different diverse species which are being used in the present aquaculture scenario. Now, from the point of view of the host, there are different tricks and tracks to be followed. Like in the tricks, we have the behavior and reflexes you have to observe. You have to observe the color of the organism or the host present in the environment. The body contour, how it is it natural or is it modified, or is it looking something, warning a kind of a disease or something. Then a swimming pattern, the swimming pattern gives you a clear idea of whether the species is in stress or whether it is being affected by a disease, or is it natural or not. And then response to feed. Generally, when you go to feed the fish, how it comes, you maintain a procedure or you maintain a record of the behaviors, and then you check whether it is natural or whether it is having a kind of deviation from what you used to see or what you used to record. In the tracks, based on these behavior and reflexes and all these things, the tricks aspect, the tracks are those where you see whether the fish or the shrimp what we have in the tanks and the ponds, they are well fed or they are ill fed. Is there any crowding stress on them? Then are they vaccinated? When you are especially talking about the intensive aquaculture, it's a very important aspect whether they are vaccinated, especially the fish. And in the shrimp, of course, the other aspect of non-specific immunity enhancement comes into play. Do they enjoy ambience? Whether they like the particular environment you have given or not. So that is where you have to have a track of those. That's why you have the component of acclimatization and domestication and all those things. What is their physiological state? The eggs, the just hatched larvae, or the metamorphosizing larvae, or the ongrowing juveniles, whether they have entered into a kind of intersex, like especially in the case of hermaphrodites, like sea basses and breams and all those things, where you have a stage of intersex stage or change of sex from male to female or female to male, whether that particular physiological state has come, because those are all the points at which they become vulnerable or they become sensitive for attack by pathogens or even by the environmental changes. And also whether there is a stage at which the fish have come to kind of maturity, sexual maturity. Are they ready to spawn? So those are all the things which you have to track and which you have to have a scientific knowledge on all those things. Again, from the host point of view, if there is no escape reflux, if there is a rubbing against the walls, splashing, if there is erratic or unusual swimming behavior, and they are not coming to feed, they observe body color, you note the hemorrhages or fin contours, could be a parasite present, look at the scrapings from the skin or gills under the microscope, could be a parasite or could be a virus. You check the feed quality, the eye opacity, whether the eye is clear or is there any opacity in the eye, whether that's why they may not be able to visualize the feed which is being offered, so they may not come to the feed. So you have to observe on those and then go for a swab from the gills and the skin for or even the blood for the analysis, bacterial analysis and the parasite analysis. Now, from the host point of view again, the certified seed is an important aspect. You have to, in a particular locality, like you have prevailing diseases, certain diseases which are notified or which are very frequent to occur. So you have to have the seed certified against particular disease. So if it is in your locality, you have Asian sea bass being cultivated, and you have the history of VNN in the particular area, then when you get the seed from a source, you have to have certified seed which is free from that particular disease, because otherwise you are risking your animal putting into an environment where there is already a disease. So you have to have proper quarantine. When you get the seed into your farm, you have to have proper quarantine, which ensures no exogenous pathogen entering into your facilities. This is an important aspect, like seed certification and quarantining of the animals which are coming into the facilities. Then you have to maintain a balanced nutrition. During the larval stages, what kind of feed you have to give, you should have a thorough knowledge on the species and its feeding habits. The larval stages, and then there is a transition from the live food to the artificial diet. How exactly you do the weaning? Is it intermittent or overlapped weaning, or is it abrupt weaning? All those things you will have to have a specific and scientific knowledge on that. So you have to maintain the nutritional conditions and the balanced nutrition in different stages of the fish or the shrimp. Then regular health checks and then practicing remedials have to be practiced properly. Regular health check is important because you will not end into a havoc. Like, there will not be a sudden disease outbreak. So you have to have regular health checks and you practice the remedials if there is even a slightest indication that there is some problem. In the case of carnivorous fishes like sea bass and even groupers, the size grading in their beginning stages is very important because they have very characteristic cannibalistic behavior, and you will lose the fish population because of no reason, except for, when I am talking no reason, it is not because of the disease, it is because of your management of the husbandry practices. So you have to size grade such fishes. Even in the herbivore fish, if it is the growth anomalies are found, there is heterogeneity among the batches of the fishes. There are some fishes which are growing faster and some which are growing slower. It is better always to size grade them, because there will be a competitive the feeding behavior among the smaller and bigger ones, even though they are not carnivores. So it's always better to have size grading. One more point is, if you don't do the size grading, there is the fear behavior of the smaller ones, because either of the carnivorous behavior or the competition for the food. So the fear behavior or fear psychosis of the smaller ones may lead them to be more sensitive to diseases, and it will become a source for a disease for even the bigger ones. So it is always better to go for size grading. That is carnivores, especially in the developmental stages. And then vaccinate the strategic disease causing agents. Like I was telling you about certain diseases, especially nowadays in India, we have Asian sea bass being cultivated in different places, in different environments. Maybe brackish, maybe marine, and maybe even freshwater aquaculture also. So I have been listening about the VNN coming up in some of the farms. So that becomes a strategic point where you have to strike by using vaccinated seed. So it is always better to go for vaccinated seed in such cases. In the case of shrimp, you have to have a certification for the specific pathogen-free seed. Especially nowadays, Vanami is being cultivated on a large scale. So you have to have identify the most dangerous disease in those areas, and you go for a specific pathogen-free seed for stocking in that area. Then judiciously use probiotics, and there are lots of probiotics available in the market. Of course, you have to be very careful in selecting the probiotics, because there could be many spurious products which may not help much. It's better you have scientific counseling of those products you use, and use those products, because probiotics are one of the best environment friendly remediation measures, which will empower the host, which will make the host better in fighting with the diseases or even with the environmental fluctuations. Then coming to the prophylactics, it is always better to use environment friendly prophylactics. The other day, Dr. Jha was giving a topic on the aqua doctors. He was telling about the essential oils, and there are several other things, like even the probiotics and water probiotics, feed probiotics, all those things. These are all environment friendly measures which we can adopt for reducing the risk of endangering the environment, and also in developing kinds of superbugs which probably will not get affected by any kind of antibiotic that is being used. And nowadays, even in shrimp, antibiotics are banned, and slowly I think even in fish there will be a measure to, or there will be a act to stop or ban the use of antibiotics. When it comes to essential oils, there were certain slides shown by Dr. Jha, and in fact we have also done some work on the essential oils, and in fact there is a patent pending on the use of essential oils in the fish transportation as sedators and anesthetics. So I will be talking about that also in my future slides. So in a nutshell, the host point of view, we have to carry out all these measures to make it more healthy environment for the fish to grow and survive in aquaculture systems. Now, what are all the measures we have, or our contributions in particular in this particular field of host empowerment, or from the point of view of the host? We did certain vaccine trials, and Dr. Shankar, I think he has already commercialized this particular vaccine. It's a biofilm vaccine of Aeromonas in carbs. You know very well the carbs are very susceptible to the dropsy, Aeromonas based the diseases, and Aeromonas biofilm was found to be a very good candidate for vaccinating the fish through oral means. There are injection, immersion, other vaccination methods, but those are all stressful, and on a large scale you will not be able to do it, and they are not that host friendly. Whereas through feed we can use this Aeromonas biofilm, and I think it has already been commercialized. Probably some company is going to take up this vaccine production. And then there is one intervention. What we tried was use of supradietary levels of vitamins like vitamin C and E, which enhance the immunity of fish. Especially we studied on milkfish, and this has been proved to be beneficial in many fish species. There is one more intervention which we did in SIBA when I was in SIBA in Chennai. We did it on the immunostimulation using Vibrio. It's an inactivated Vibrio, and this product has been commercialized by SIBA, and I think a company in Hyderabad has taken up this, and it is marketed in the name of SIBA Sting. So this is one of the things which when I was there, we did large scale field trials in and around Chennai, and later on my friends have taken up a lot of field trials in Gujarat area, and they came up with very good results, and based on that the company took this particular technology and commercialized it. Then here in Kisar, in Kuwait Institute, we developed a Bacillus species through screening the natural gut microbiota, and this was found to be very good probiotic for the in-feed and also the environmental probiotic. We tried it in the bluefin bream, which is called Sparidentax hasta, and this was also tried in the silver pomfret, Zubaydi, which is locally called here. So it's a very good candidate species. In fact, we are using it for another vaccine development, and the procedure is on, and we expect a commercial product out of this. This product is being used for, this probiotics is being used for developing a vaccine against cryptocarrion, which is a very important parasitic pathogen in marine fish and also in big aquariums, like what we see in Dubai and even in Kuwait and all. Aquariums also suffer from this parasite. So we are taking up this particular project. In fact, we have completed this project, and we are going to enter into a kind of MOU with a company for commercial production of the vaccine. And we did one more on the Uronema. Uronema is again another ciliate parasite, which is very common in the flatfishes in Korea. Dr. Ramakrishnan, I think he's in Satyabama now, or I don't know, in Chennai. He was working with this in Korea. And we did some work on the Aeronema with silver pomfret. In fact, it created a lot of problems in silver pomfret, and we published it also in Aquaculture. So we developed a vaccine. It's a bivalent vaccine for the Aeronema and also Vibrio. It was tested in the sea bream, and it's very effective against even the cryptocarrion, which is another ciliate. So this is how we can empower the host by giving vaccines, by increasing the immunostimulation, by increasing the immune capabilities through dietary supplements like vitamin C and vitamin E, and also probiotics. This is in a nutshell what I wanted to tell on two important things there, which is on the Aeromonas vaccine. When we used 10 to 10 or 10 to 11 CFU per gram of food of Biofilm vaccine, it was superior to the free cell. Free cell is the normal one which we grow in broth, the free cell of Aeromonas. It is much more better than the free cell vaccine. And then supradietary levels, I have shown it here, 1500 mg of vitamin C or 50 mg of vitamin E when supplied or with the feed to Chanos milkfish, the vaccine efficiency was improved. Then the probiotic, I was talking about the probiotic, the Bacillus probiotic. You can see here it's competitive exclusion. I think Dr. Jha was telling about this the other day. This is the Vibrio species. You can see this Vibrio species. We co-cultured the bacteria, the pathogenic bacteria, and the probiotic bacteria. You can see the colony of the bacteria here, and this one here. And you can see this is the earlier stage, which is 0 hour, and this is 6 hours. You can see at 0 hour how it is, and at 6 hours it is almost engulfing the Vibrio colony. So this is one of the established fact that Bacillus is a very good probiotic, and that can be used in feed or as environmental probiotic also. The bivalent vaccine I was talking about with the Uronema, the patent was granted in 2014. This was for the Uronema and the Vibrio. That's why it is a bivalent vaccine. And the salient features of this was we did the vaccination and did the survival assays, 51 days, 80 days, and 110 days. Okay, and it was found to be even up to 110 days, the survival was quite good compared to the control. And for the Aeromonas vaccine, this was published in Aquaculture and also in Fish and Shellfish Immunology. You can see here the immunoreactivity of the biofilm vaccine. You can see the shaded area, the biofilm vaccine, in the different organs, internal organs like the gut, anterior and posterior gut, then the gut macrophages, the gut vacuoles, and the spleen. Where it can be seen. You can see the higher localization of the biofilm vaccine. So this is how it was proved to be much more effective compared to the free cell vaccine. Coming to the pathogen, we talked about the host. Coming to the pathogen, from its point of view, what are all the tricks? Is there something frothing or kind of a froth forming in the tank? Or is there a kind of off odor coming out of the tank? Is there any fish visible wounds? Is there any reddening? The contour line of the fins? Normally the ciliates, especially external parasites, which devour on the epithelials. So there will be a contour mismatch. The contour lines of the fins are not natural generally. So you have to look into those things, and then how is the swimming behavior? Is it usual swimming or unusual swimming behavior? So these are all the things which we have to see, and these form the tricks of your health management. And how do you track them? You have to observe the body color. You have to go for checking the hemorrhages of the fins, contour lines of the fin, and fin erosion, skin erosion, any skin abrasions, skin necrosis, all those things you have to see. And then if there is any unusual swimming behavior, it could be a parasite. So look for them in the under the microscope using a swab. And then you have to have a feed quality check. Sometimes due to nutritional imbalances, you may have some problems like eye opacity and all those things. That's why you may not see behavior of active feeding. So you have to check on the feed quality. There should not be any kind of fungus growing in the feed, and it will end up in aflatoxin related complications. And then go for the swab or the blood culture for checking for any bacteria, any pathogen or a parasite. Again, like as I told in the host empowerment or host strengthening, here also you have to go for certified seed, you have to go for quarantining, you have to do prophylactics, and then in the prophylactics, contra-osmotic treatment, like if you are using a marine fish, use freshwater bath. It's a very good effective method of removing all external parasites and even the bacteria, because many of the bacteria which are saline or salt loving may not survive well in fresh water, so they may die off and they may come off from the surface. So the colonization and further multiplication will not take place. So it is always better to go for contra-osmotic treatments instead of chemicals. The formalin is much more harsh on the host, like especially the gills and all the epithelium is affected. So it is always better to go for contra-osmotic treatments. Then regular health checks and practicing remedial measures and then giving treatments. This is very important from the pathogen point of view. Vaccinate the strategic disease, like you identify a disease which is from the strategic health management point of view. Use that as a key for vaccinating or getting a fish which is vaccinated for table fish production. Then use feed probiotics which empower the host, which is, I told you, it is a competitive exclusion for the pathogens. And then use standard operating procedures or diagnostic methods which are early, which help you in early detection of the pathogen, because early detection of the pathogen is the key for proper health management. Take earliest separation of the diseased animal and then treat them in a separate way and separate from the main stock, and that will help you in reducing the spread and also effectively controlling the disease. Then use environment friendly prophylactic measures, like I told you, formalin or copper sulfate, especially in the case of the ciliate parasites, cryptocaryon, or in freshwater ectotherias. Copper sulfate is very harsh on the fish. So it is always better to use, like I said, contraosmotic treatment. If it is not working, go for essential oils. We have seen many of the essential oils are very effective in controlling the parasites. And there are reports on the on the garlic oil on many of the monogenian parasites in freshwater and even in saltwater fish species. Now, our contributions in this particular pathogen point of view, the virulence and histopathology of Vibrio angularum was tested in latest calcarifer. It's a very serious pathogen, Vibrio angularum, in marine environments. So diagnostic is very important for the pathogen control. So you have to use approved and state-of-the-art technologies, especially the PCR and related technologies for early detection of the pathogen. Then we did the diagnostics of nodoviruses in latest calcarifer, and this was the first report from India on nodoviruses. We did a diagnostic assessment of outbreaks of streptococcus in silver pomfret in Kisar in Kuwait. In fact, streptococcus was associated with sudden increase in temperatures. So that is where you have to monitor the environment. If you don't know whether the outbreak of streptococcus is related to the temperature rise and further mortalities and also spread of the disease, then it will be difficult for you to control or even prevent the disease. If, say, for example, you have in our case we had during May, June, which is a transition of temperature rise, that is the time at which, if you can control the environment, the disease outbreak of streptococcus can be prevented or controlled. Then we had another project which was on the disinfection of eggs, which is a very important procedure in the spawning of either freshwater or marine fish. If it is not properly disinfected, there are chances of media related or even the vertically transmitted diseases. Media related, it could be horizontal transmission from the batches of the fishes of the same batch from one fish to another, or the pathogen which is in the environment or in the medium may enter into the naive fish, or which is not affected by a disease or a pathogen. So it is always better to have disinfected eggs. So we did work on this, and we found that iodophore is the best disinfectant. In fact, there was one more project which I did on the grouper eggs. In that, we found that the ozone disinfection is very effective compared to even iodophore. So iodophore or ozone, these are the two methods of choice for disinfection of marine or freshwater eggs. Now, coming to the environment point of view, again, as I told you already, the frothing may occur because of organic matter deposition or too much of organic matter in the environment, and also there could be certain cases where you have H2S coming up, especially when they use the groundwater for partially or replacing the water in the tank. So you should be looking for these, or check for the odor of the water. Is it off odor, smelling? Then whether the fish or the shrimp, or they have some kind of off color, not a natural color. Are there any wounds, broken, the appendages, especially in the case of shrimp, the rostrum, all those things, and even the exoskeleton. Are there any blemishes on the exoskeleton? All those things. And then swimming behavior. That's like I told you already. So these are all the some of the tricks which which can be commonly fitted into many of these tracks. Then water replacement, bottom cleaning is one of the track method, and check settling at the bottom, pump out the bottom muddy sediments, and then check the sediments, check the filters, and then check any unnatural events taking place in your inlet point, like especially when there is low tide and you have muddy water coming in. So all these things are the tracks which you have to have a regular monitoring. Check for the feeding behavior, and you maintain the feeding charts. This is very important for the on-farm management. You have to have charts of feeding and also for the water quality management. So you keep all the records and maintain these records so that you can track the incidents. Previously, if that particular incident happened, what were the predisposing factors? What were the water quality parameters? What was the fish condition? How the fish was behaving? All those things are very important. In environment point of view, again, depending on the type of culture system, you have to examine the input water and then different stages. Okay, from the input point, maybe it is from the creek or from the bay, you take it into a sump, and how is the condition in the sump? What are all the methods you are adopting to eliminate a pathogen or reduce the environmental related fluctuations? Then when you are using, especially in the case of aquariums and in the house show aquariums, the municipal water, if you are using, you check for the chlorine levels. It's always very important, because without checking the chlorine, and if you are putting in pumping in the water, and you may lose the fish. So purging of chlorine through aeration and aging it is a very good step. Or you can use the sodium thiosulfate for neutralizing chlorine, but of course you need to check the levels of sodium thiosulfate before you pump into the tank where you have the fish. Then use host-friendly disinfectants, water treatment methods. Avoid formalin. It's always better to avoid formalin. Hydrogen peroxide and ozone are some of the very good disinfectant agents for host-friendly disinfection. Get a regular report on the water quality parameters. As I told in the previous slide also, that water quality parameters have to be monitored regularly, and you should have thorough maintenance of the chart. Have chemical characteristics report of the intake water. The intake water you are getting into your shrimp farm or the fish farm should be devoid of hazardous material, especially when your input point or intake point is nearer to some kind of effluent discharge point. You should be very careful. So you have to have a report on that intake water. Use environmental probiotics, bioremediating agents for water remediation for the fish empowerment. Now our efforts on this particular field for a particular point of view, bioremediation using the lignocellulosic waste like bagasse. This was the work we did when I was in SIBA, using bagasse as bioremediating agent. I'll come to that later. Then we did one here in SIBA in Kisar on the carbohydrate sources, like different carbohydrate sources we used, including bagasse, wheat, and several other things. So for growing the Variochromis niloticus, the Nile tilapia, controlling the water quality parameters, especially the nitrate, and ammonia and all those things, to reduce bacterial counts and enhance the muscle quality also. So that's one of the ways what we could improve the aquaculture conditions. Now, what are environmental pollutants? You can see here in this particular picture, there are a lot of plastic. That's the most worrying aquaculture pollutant, or the aquatic environmental pollutant nowadays. And this could be a source of aquaculture pollution also. Simply, pollutant is a substance introduced into the environment that has undesired effects. They are referred to as man-made chemicals such as alkyl phenols, phthalates, and then pesticides, and so many other things. Of course, these in toxic doses are the ones which cause negative effect on the living organisms, which can cause cancer. Like I was telling about the formaldehyde, which is a carcinogen. Then they may act as endocrine disrupting chemicals. These are normally called as EDCs, like biphenyls, pesticides, phthalates, and all those things. Then they may cause organ failure and developmental problems like mercury, lead, and cadmium. They all affect the internal organs, especially the mercury affects the brain and brain functions, the neuronal dysfunctions. Then coming to the endocrine disrupting chemicals, mostly derived from these plastic derivatives. So these are the disrupting chemicals which disrupt the hormones through receptor blocking. They block the hormone receptors and thus end up in endocrinal dysfunction. So endocrinal disrupting chemicals are natural synthetic compounds that can exert an effect on the living organisms and interfere with the hormonal system and endocrine regulation. These chemicals are, most of them are toxic and can cause harmful effects on the living organisms, both fish and also the invertebrate organisms. They can produce adverse effects on the developmental stages. They can block the developmental stages. Even we have seen the egg hatching has been affected due to these chemicals or the endocrine disrupting chemicals. Then there could be an effect on the reproductive system, neurological and immunological functions also. You can see here the endocrine disrupting chemicals are coming from different anthropogenic activities. You can see here the outlet here, or the pollution point in the bay. This is from Kuwait, with the work done in Kuwait. The environment has been described as ultimate sink for whether it is marine or even freshwater, like in rivers. We have seen that in the recent times also. And then effluents from sewage treatment plants, they also contain a significant amount of natural and man-made chemicals, endocrine disrupting chemicals, plastics, and things like that. Then sewage water contains a lot of microorganisms, especially from the hospital environments. They may contain superbugs, and this could be a problem if it enters into the aquaculture systems. Then EDCs cannot be removed fully during the effluent treatment process, so it has to be taken into account. That's why you have to have complete data on the input water, or the water which you take into the aquaculture systems, and they find their way into the marine environment through via sewage outlets. Now, on the endocrine disrupting chemicals, the work what we did had deleterious effects on the liver histology, liver functioning, and it was found that the hepatopancreatic index was increased, the liver got enlarged, and we found a lot of vacuolation in the liver and hyperemia, like a lot of blood cells being accumulated in the vessels. You can see that the blood accumulation, and we did analysis of the vitalogenin, which is an indicator of endocrine disrupting chemicals in the environment. So when we did immunohistochemistry, we had experiments conducted in the summer and the winter both, and you can see here the summer the levels of endocrine disrupting chemicals resulting in the vitalogenin deposition. So this the reason why we take vitalogenin as an indicator, because the fish what we tried was the bream, which is a male in the beginning and becomes a female later. But with the endocrine disrupting chemicals acting in the system, the males become females quite before the natural process. So this will hamper the natural recruitment in the environment, and in the aquaculture systems also, like the males, if they are becoming females at the age of say 1 year in the natural course, but when there is endocrine disrupting chemicals, they become females within 6 months. So you lose those 6 months because the gonadal development takes a lot of energy, and that energy will not be partitioned into, or it will not be converted into muscle. So the actual growth of the muscle input will be lessened because of these endocrine disrupting chemicals. So we did it in the winter also. You can see here in the winter the deposition was less. So it is again the mobilization and uptake by the physiology of the animal. You can see here in different places we did it. Some of the places in the earlier slide you saw where we had the receiving water had a little bit higher concentration of the endocrine disrupting chemicals compared to this one, where we had not that much of the concentration of the endocrine chemicals. Summary: as there is nothing to conclude, learning is continuous. Observation, keenness in an aquaculture day-to-day operation, be it by onlooker or by the farm or by the manager, provides valuable information for tricks to be followed and communicated in defining the tracks of all aquaculture health management strategies. Now, one has to update information on methods, on facilities, and then we have to evolve suitable and also sustainable management measures, because aquaculture has to depend on suitability, sustainability, and also efficacy. So it has to be kept in mind that animals get a good environment for good health, and also conserve the environment and maintain it to a near natural status. Thank you very much, Diptanu and his team, and thank you friends for joining in the discussion. You can drop in your questions either to Diptanu or me. No one is perfect. I am a student among you. I am a student among students. So correct me if I am wrong. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. the whole presentation was very informative, and you have touched not about, no, many times people talk about only disease, they show this is happening and that is happening, but you have tried to address the points, how it happens, why it happens, and how it can be eradicated, which is very important, because most of the time we always address prevention better than cure, but how to prevent, where to start, where to end, that was your topic name was something very innovative, trick and track, so by which we understand that in a smaller way prevention better than cure, but how to start, where to start, and how we can take it forward, because we understand that you are a learner and we are a student, and a learner can address the things such a way that it should be come up with a presentable mode and people can digest it. So that part of job you have done, sir, very well. And once again, thanks from all of us and participants. We'll take some questions, but before hand over the session to the participants, we'll take 3 to 4 questions, because after that we have a 10 to 15 minutes a certificate session where all the eminent people are with us, so we'll take it, but let us also be specific to the subject what we have, the question you can ask, because subject is very big, experts are in each line, sir have addressed many of the points, each line we have experts globally now, each words itself. So you can start, sir. I will take first Shahu sir. Sir, please.
Dr. Azad, I'm extremely happy, and the presentation was fantastic, wonderful, and you have
Thank
touched
you.
upon everything. And what Devtanu mentioned, that it is always, prevention is better than cure. It is 100% sure, because main problem comes in from the water and soil of the
Yes.
pond. If that is taken care, I don't think any problem will come up.
Yeah.
Now the second thing, I just want to share, of course, Sudhanshu is also there from SIFA. I could see him. So I want to share that most of the people are working on Argulas even in SIFA. Our Pramod, my
Yeah.
colleague, my former colleague, Pramod is also working on Argulas. Of course, earlier people were using, Botox,
Yeah.
ivermectin.
Yes.
But
Yes.
very recently, about few days back, my good friend, in fact, my student, in fact, I would say Dr. B.K. Das, who is director, Sifri. So
Yes.
they
Yes.
have, what do you call, one medicine they have brought it out, that is Argi Cure.
Hmm.
That is for
Hmm.
Argulas, and that has been
Arguments.
given to Agrochem through
Mm-hmm.
Agri Innovate, New Delhi. So those things also which has come up, it is excellent. It is this is for your kind information to you also. And Dr.
Yeah.
Azad, actually will be in touch. I'm extremely happy
Thank you.
to Devtanu. At least, he gave us, a platform so that, we could, interact with each other. And just one personal thing I
Yeah.
want to share, since you were there in Siva. In fact, Pandian was there with me in Egypt,
Oh,
Chandrasekhar,
okay.
C.S. Pandian.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Was it there with you when you were there in Siva?
No. 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 Kulashekar Pandyan was there with us.
Yeah, yeah. Was he there with you that time?
Yeah. 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 Kulashekar Pandyan, teacher, Pillai,
Yeah.
then
Actually,
Ravi.
Pandian and me, both of us, actually, we had gone to Egypt, for about a month or so. So,
Okay.
anyway, it's very nice, got your presentation. Thank you very much.
Thank
God
you,
bless
sir.
you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
If any participant want to ask any questions, you can unmute yourself. You can ask the questions to sir, because you'll not get chance to always to be with sir and to ask a question to even to sir. So this is a very golden opportunity. If any participants wants to ask any questions regarding the topic what we have today, you can ask, please.
Hi, Ajad sir, Prabhav here.
Yeah.
I'm basically from Bihar. So my point was basically on the probiotics part. You said like when we are using probiotics in our pond or in our culture, we should be very much cautious when we are using it. So
Yeah.
as a farmer or as an aquaculture farmer, which probiotics or what measures we have to take when we have to use probiotics?
You use a probiotic which is useful. There are so many. In fact, when I was in SIBA, we did some survey. About 40 or 45 products were there in the market, except two. None of them were working. It is how they fool the people.
Which are
In
those
fact,
two?
I don't want to tell those two, but it's people like Deptanu, and there are people who know the field conditions, which are the things which are working. So you should take cue from those people. It is always better you have a small unit. Check on that first.
Yeah,
Take some small sample. Check on that, and if you feel that it is working, well, go ahead. Otherwise, don't buy blind folded and then waste your money. I don't recommend that.
So usually it will be a blind spot for any farmer. So basically, what do you suggest a farmer, maybe like me, who is not always in touch with the experts like you? So how do they approach it? Is there any website? Is there any place? Or is there anything which he can do to look for a good probiotics or anything as such?
I think Deptanu can answer.
Uh,
Yeah, you
I
can.
will just tell you in the field what is happening. Maybe in the survey when it happens, maybe long back, and now
Yeah,
we
long
have
back.
more than 159 company probiotic in terms of soil, with soil and water, water
Yeah.
separate, algae control, gut probiotic, many probiotic. If I make it, it will be 159. So whenever we go to farmers have a problem and they want to address, okay, I need a probiotic or maybe something, or based on aqua technician prescription, they follow it up. So if you just follow it up also based on aqua technicians or maybe someone discussion, or maybe you want to buying and showing it, just look for 7 to 10 days period of time. Very close observations. During that period of close observation of your own eyes, that whatever you have understand, that is the certificate of the particular product.
Yes.
Once you are happy, we are happy, because now many company come up with lots of certification of government institution, whatever it may be. Maybe initially it's happened, it working good, but long time based on our climatic condition, based on our geographical location, the topography, such a beauty we have. Something was what is happening in Manipur, the product will not work even in Odisha. But which is working even Chaus are very correctly said, the now a product of Argulas. I will put a small example. In West Bengal, we lost carp industry every year more than 1 crore of fish due to this Argulas and lots of parasitic infestation. In West Bengal itself, it is a whole India problem. Now the product which has come up with Sifri, I'm telling it should be go all state trial basis, then the product should come in the market line, because which is happening in West Bengal good may not happen in Tripura condition, may not happen in Sikkim conditions, because product is good, but the geographical condition, climatic weather, the way farmer is using the prescription, that's also a very important. If any medicine want to be work very good in the farm condition, sometimes it's happened in the human side also. Very good doctor Devi Shetty write some prescription, but the patient is not taking care himself the medicine, then we cannot blame to Dr. Devi Shetty.
You're right.
Sir, please, Shahu sir.
I just want to share, friends. In fact, I was mentioning that since I was what do you call World Bank consultant to Andhra Pradesh. So actually, we met the commissioner fisheries out there, Mr. Nayak, IS. So he was telling that Dr. Sahu, actually, we are now. The farmers are, almost crying, in Andhra Pradesh, because like Japan, so each house, it is like a cottage industry industry, each one, making, some kind of a medicine, some kind of, that is doing very well. They go to the farmer, like a medical representative, they go to doctor. Similarly, these people, they go to the farmer, they say, आप इसको use कीजिए, इसको use कीजिए. बोलते हैं कि these farmers, बर्बाद हो गए एकदम पूरा. How to do it?
Yeah, right.
So I think the farmer should, be little careful about the things. And Dr. Diptanu, you are absolutely right that people are actually they are carried away, by those doubts. Absolutely. Thank you.
Sir, thank you, sir. If any participants wants to ask any question, please.
Sudhanshu is there? He was my colleague in SIBA.
Sir was here, I saw, sir.
Jha is
yeah.
there, Rajiv?
Sir is
Oh,
there.
okay.
Rajiv sir also joined. Any participants
Hello,
you want to
Ajay
ask
sir.
any questions?
I'm here.
Hello.
Hello,
Hello.
hello.
Sir, sir is there. Rajiv sir is there.
Hello, congratulations. It was a nice talk. I
Thank you,
enjoyed
thank
it.
you, thank you.
Sorry,
I took a little cue from your EOS, essential oils.
we always exchange,
Yeah.
So it
In
was,
fact,
yeah.
we are working on a combination of 3-4 oils, and especially in the transportation and anesthetics. It's very good. In fact, we have filed it in the US patents. And we are waiting for the examination and all those things. It's very good, and it enhances many of the immune genes during the transportation, and after receiving at your farm for about 3 to 4 days, they are at higher level, enhanced level compared to the normal oxygen packed seed. That could be one of the things, because that's a crucial time when you transfer
Yes.
from the bags to the field, and they are very tired and stressed and all those things. They are sensitive to diseases. If you have higher levels of immune functions at that time, probably the survival later will be better. So that's one of the things, and we are thinking of even doing some field trials also.
You're
So,
right.
sir, the point you have what address, and maybe Rajiv sir also will be adding that to
Yeah.
one. We lost many fish seed during the transportation from West Bengal to many other parts of the country. Whenever we try to do is an open case in the vehicle or maybe in the oxygen packing also, always this problem comes, and bigger problem comes due to the catfish movement, the hatchlings transportations. So this kind of research should come up. Rajiv sir, please.
Sir, sir,
Yes. Yes.
sir, as a very good presentation, sir.
Oh, Rajmanikam. Okay, thank you.
Sir,
He was also my
sir.
colleague in SIBA.
Sir, one question. We are always depend on SPF enemy. What about our
Okay.
Indian decisions, sir? When it will be coming? SPF indicates monodon.
SIBA should tell.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
We also have Shiva Kumar sir also joined with us.
Shivkumar, I saw your presentation also. I saw Jha's presentation, Rajiv's presentation, and Shivkumar's presentation. Yesterday I was going through the YouTube.
If any participants, sir is there. Shiva Kumar sir is there.
Yes, Shivkumar. राजीव जी
Yes, yes. I was.
आपका कुछ
बोलिए सर.
आपका कुछ फीडबैक दीजिए.
I was talking about stress, anti-stress. Here we are using in shrimp packaging from hatchery to farm, these EOs. And also, we had very extensive trial on cattle transportation stress. And we have very good result on that. What happens in Indonesia, that these cattle calves will be, transported from Australia, then to Indonesia. They will be grown up here, slaughter, or or live will be transported back to Australia and then sold at higher price. So, so what we used to see, there will be a stress, and because of the stress, loss in weight, almost, up to 50 kg in a week. So this using EOS have helped a lot. And what we are seeing that not only it is maintaining the weight but also improving. So I'm in align with your
Yeah,
research
yeah,
that it is
yeah,
really helping,
yeah.
to for anti-stress. So it's
Rajiv ji, in fact, the bluefin bream, what we have in the Arabian, the Gulf, Sparidine texasta, it's a shoaling type of fish,
okay.
very aggressive and very carnivorous. And we tried the sedative doses of the essential oils, and they become calm, and the cannibalism is reduced, and the growth is better.
Yeah.
Such type
That
of
is
things.
amazing, to know that
Yeah.
it also reduces. So it actually, what we say, in our research, what we are seeing actually, Ajad Saab, that
Yeah.
it is acting more like immunomodulator. So
Yes.
it is maintaining the immune, or you can say it is
Yeah.
balancing the immunity. So
Yes.
this kind of aggressiveness, or even a low, lower immunity level, it brings up, or if it is high,
Yeah.
it bringing down. So it is, it is very much natural. So what we say, actually, we are not changing anything. What we are doing, we are bringing to the original situation, how it
Yes.
should be. So
Yeah.
essential oils are helping in that way,
They will not allow the cortisol levels to go up,
right?
and and the stress responses are kept to the minimum.
Yeah.
That's the reason why probably we have better.
One more
Yes,
thing,
Shivkumar.
what we see, uh,
Yeah.
that what
Yeah.
we are seeing in case of animals, that cholesterol level will significantly go down. Cholesterol level of the meat, whether it is chicken, or cattle, or pork meat. So we don't see much in shrimp, because it
Yeah.
doesn't have so high level of cholesterol.
Yeah.
But these things are really good. So yeah,
Yeah.
so you are going in right direction, what I would say.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, I think Dr. Shiva Kumar is online now. Yeah, hello, sir.
Thank you, Debdanu.
Sir.
Aqua One Center, National Fishery Development Board, definitely, since the principles of science is same everywhere, there is no boundary for scientists. For Prime Minister, one country; for CM, one state. For scientists like you and me, the entire universe is our service area. So always I love to hear Dr. Ajat Saab, because I don't ask questions because I am his ardent follower. No questions. So I only express my way, thought in my own poetic way. Hello, listening?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sir.
Pathogens are not new, and presence of a pathogen is not a disease. Pathogens are as old as life on the earth. Maybe their strains are new. The animal's reproduction habit, feeding habit, may cause some inconveniences. But they are not there. I mean, their reproduction process, their feeding habit, pathogens feeding habit and reproduction process may cause inconveniences to the animals, but they are not there to cause diseases. So, indiscriminate intervention of human activities makes them deadly. Indiscriminate intervention of human activities makes them deadly. That's all my statement. So, all the creatures on the earth have the same right to live in, including Ebola, coronavirus. This earth is not designed for the human beings alone. 8.7 million of life forms have the same right to live in. And anyway,
Yeah.
thank you. I reached, no, I was driving, reached home in a hurry to just to see you. So I was in a hurry to prepare
Thank
myself.
you. Thank you. Thank you.
So because if I don't attend, it's an insult. So thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
As
Thank you,
ever,
sir.
you are a good speaker. We
Thank
like
you.
the
Thank you.
concept. So it is up to the youngsters and the institutions to take it forward in whatever the way. See, somebody asked the question. It is we have to answer. In fact, there is enough knowledge base established. We have to convert this knowledge into wisdom and practice. Thank you, Devtanu.
Sir.
Thank you, Ajat sir. And
Thank
one
you.
new member is added to my family. See the beautiful aquarium there. I'll show you.
Oh, okay.
There. I think now not this.
Okay.
Can you see that, sir? Aquarium there in the far.
Yes. Visible,
So,
sir.
Yeah.
so I'll tell you. So just by maintaining good water quality, 99% of the diseases issue can be solved. That is the message from the aquarium.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, sir. Sir, I just like to be request all of you to just spend 5 minutes more. Actually, from 16th to 18th, we have organized 3 days online training program on Singi and Desi Magur breeding program on ground level.
It's not audible, Deptanu.
Sir, am I audible?
No.
Yeah.
You can't?
I'm listening. It's okay for me.
Okay, so we have organized and we have received 16 participants from different parts of the country, starting from student, farmer, housewife, businessman, and aquaculture professionals who are already inside it, even from some BFSC students who are completed their masters also. We have organized first day 3 lecture sessions to make them understand before they start their journey on the railway, the platform. We just check their first the ticket, then we board them on the train. Then next 2 days we have organized extensive field-based training, and I also was there in the field. I just back a few hours back. So we did Singi breeding natural way, and also we did Magur breeding with sacrificing the male, and we should show them the whole process and egg collection, and the whole system was low cost technology. How the farmer is doing, we present farmer to be explained our participants. So out of them, we have some of our trainees with us on online. I just like to request them, maybe 2 or 3%. You can just unmute yourself, just share your experience with sir. Then we'll share your certificates also on the screen so that other people also can see that. Because this is the first time I tried my level best to organize this digital training program. Once it gets success, I want to take it the other dimension of the aquaculture also slowly on the digital platform. I will request Ms. Tanupriya Bhakta. If you are available, please unmute yourself, madam. And
Yes,
just,
sir.
yeah, you
Yes,
just
sir.
share your
Good evening,
experience.
sir.
Yeah, good evening, please.
Yes, sir. It's a very good experience. I will definitely try my level best to carry it on forward. And I am going to start my MFSC, and I am looking forward to do it in aquatic animal health. And I will also try. I have also talked with my parents so that we can do something on that we could breed, or we could bring some hatchlings of Shingi Magut to our home, and we could raise them. So it will be my first practical experience. I will try to do this.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so
sir.
much.
Sir, it was a
Because
very helpful session. Thank you for organizing it.
thank you. I'd like to request if anyone is there, Mr. Samiran Patra, sir. Oh, sir, yes.
Hello?
Audible, sir?
Hello? Audible?
Yes. Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
Yes.
Audible,
Yes.
sir.
Audible.
Hello?
Sir, you are audible. You can share your experience, sir, with the session.
Thank you, Dr. This is very nice and very practical, field-oriented training program and it will be help for not only the farmers but also the researchers those who are engaged in aquaculture sector, especially in hatchery management. It is not only the educational purpose but also it will give the enough potentiality to get the entrepreneurship development. And thank you for the nice arrangement, and it will be give another window. And thank you, Aqua Doctor Solution, for being arranged this type of training program. And very thankful, and I am also fortunate about that I am participated in this program. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. And I just like to tell Mr. Samiran Patra, sir is also basically a scientist in KVK. So still he participated our session. He also learn and also give feedback to us also how to improve it further. I just now like to request Mr. Ongam Balasore Singh from Manipur. If you are there, sir, please unmute yourself and please share your experience. Yes, Mr. Ongam. Sir, you are audible? Or maybe we'll go to our next one participant, Mr. Bijay Kumar Panda from Odisha. सर, आप थोड़ा सा कुछ बोलना चाहते हैं ट्रेनिंग के बारे में तो बोल सकते हैं सर. आप माइक अनम्यूट करके सर बोल सकते हैं प्लीज.
गुड इवनिंग सर. सर मैं हिंदी में बोलूँगा सर. मेरे को मेरे को सब मालूम हो गया. वो देवता सर इतना अच्छा सर है, मैं कभी नहीं देखा है. इतना सा वो 3 दिन का अंदर में मेरे को सब कुछ मालूम हो गया. मैं खुद अभी कर सकता हूँ ब्रीडिंग. ओके, मेरे को भी अभी तक मैं कभी देखा नहीं है इतना अच्छा सर. इतना सिंपल, इतना अच्छा से समझाया, सब कुछ दिखाया. मेरे को 3 दिन का अंदर सब कुछ हो गया. मैं प्रैक्टिस करूंगा तो मैं खुद कर सकता हूँ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं है.
Okay sir, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I just like to end up our this today Sunday talkies sessions with putting the thanks first of all to Dr. Azad sir, Dr. Shahu sir, Dr. Siva Kumar sir, Rajiv sir, whoever experts of the global aquaculture platform experts joined today in this session, along with lots of participants throughout the country, and outside the country also we have some participants from Africa even. They've also have participants. So this whole session of sir interaction will be available in the YouTube in coming 2 or 3 days. Whoever need, you can learn it, is a asset for our knowledge. So we can go forward, backward, we can try to understand the knowledge. And one more message, I also like to pass these things. We have lots of knowledge which is flowing through Google, through mouth speaking experts everywhere. But it's our duty to identify which is good, which is bad. Before you go to restaurant, we order many foods, but out of them, we like 1 or 2 foods of particular restaurants. So we have many experts in the field, and lots of quack experts are also there. So be smart yourself to identify right tree, right fruit, right flower, so that next generation of aquaculture of India should cross not only China, can make a millennium forum for all of us. So with this word, I like to thanks again to Azad sir, because your inspirations, your supports, your knowledge, your wisdom can show a path to many young entrepreneur, aquapreneur, and many young ages like mine. I want to also see many young people should come up this industry, because once this young generation people will take over this industry, the day will come when we'll be also considered one of the, people not say, I want to be MBBS. They will say, I want to be a farmer.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Good.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you everyone for
Thank you.
participating. Stay blessed and hope these corona things will not attack everyone, because we are strong enough from mind and heart. Thank you so much. Bye.
All the
Thank you.
all the